Trade. Trade. Private jet flights overseas. Damn piece.
This is the issue. Back in the 30s, back in the 20s and 30s, black folks did businesses. They started something, and they had a mindset that was about being self-sufficient.
Right. But what fucked that up was Martin Luther King when he had everybody integrated with each other. You know what I mean?
I'm not saying that's not true, but the problem here is you don't have black people that are doing this. Like, they're complaining about not owning something, but they're not in a mass trying to own something. How many black celebrities have enough money to build Black Wall Street again? Are there not enough black celebrities that have the money to do that?
Yeah, but those celebs, man, they move on a different note. They're not for the people. They're not allowed to spend their money on their own people.
Yeah. Yes, who the fuck tells them how to spend their money, bro? That's bullshit. They give back all the time. But yeah, let's finish building, Rush. I'm not saying that your assumption is wrong. What I'm saying is, when it's an assumption, it's not a fact. Just like you said, they pulled you over. Maybe the lighting from where they were sitting caused him to think that and pulled you over. You're just assuming that you were pulled over because you're black. You may be correct, but just because it's an assumption means that you could also be wrong too, is what I'm saying. I'm saying, like, you're almost programmed to automatically think the worst. And I'm saying that's like literally the programming I'm saying that, no,
through
I'm
life
not
through life experience.
Rush, I'm not Rush.
Through life experience, MoneyBoy Trey. Through life experience, I have to move a certain way so I don't get caught up in a serious jam.
Rush, that's
all that is. I'm not programmed.
This is what I said. I didn't say you're programmed. I said, and I quote, "It's almost like you're programmed to think the worst of everything." That's what I said. It's almost like you're programmed. I'm black just like you, and I don't feel that I have to move a certain way to escape the wrath and the ire of white people. That's why, like I was saying, your situation is isolated. My situation, I haven't experienced it. It's isolated. Lil Wayne's situation is isolated. So it's not fair for all of us to run around and act like our isolated incident represents the majority and then shit on the people that say, well, I haven't experienced that, and discount us. We all have different experiences. I've never said racism didn't exist. I'm saying some of the shit that we've been taught as far as how fucked up it is doesn't make sense logically. Are there people that say nigger? Yes, it is. Are there black people that call white people hunkies and crackers and peckerwoods? Yes, there are. Shit happens. But that doesn't mean that they're out trying to kill you or any of that shit. Those people are typically just ignorant and they're harmless.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, man, like, no disrespect to you, man. I'm just saying, man, like,
no,
we're not going to
disrespect. We building.
Yeah, we're not going to come to an agreement with this, but, I do respect your perspective because of, what you do, and you're a cool dude. But, yeah, man, I mean, a lot of craziness be going on, you know what I mean? And only thing I could do is just handle everything accordingly, like I gotta handle it, you know what I mean? Whether it's dealing with racism or whatever,
Word. That's just like we can I think we can all say racism in 2020 ain't like racism in 1950s and 60s, and then we still have to ask, was racism even that bad in those days when we were in our own? When we had the Negro Leagues, the people in the major leagues weren't running around coming down to the Negro League games calling us niggers. It wasn't until we integrated that they started doing it. Those were paid fans that did it. Sometimes it was players, and sometimes it got dealt with, sometimes it didn't, but it wasn't everybody in the stands doing it. It wasn't every player. But they weren't coming to our restaurants fucking with us doing sit-ins. We were doing it to their establishments.
I mean, I guess from coming from your lens of that, yeah, but you know, that's
But
still
isn't
it's
that what
still
happened though,
it's
Rush? Isn't that what
it's
happened? Forget my lens of thing. Is that not what happened? We had our own section of town. They had their own section of town. We had our own schools. They had their own schools. We had our
yeah,
own
but you gotta
doctors.
thank Martin Luther King
Wait,
for that
wait, let me
though.
finish.
He the one he the forerunner of that. I mean,
But let me finish though. They had their own section. We had our own section. They weren't fucking with us and coming to stop the Negro Leagues or any of that. It was in when integration came is when we started hearing about how bad racism was. And can you be upset with those people? They already are coming. Some of the ones that were upset are the ones that typically lost slaves and lost a lot of their free labor. So those are the people that are upset. They've already upset they had to free them. So then they got their own part of town. And now the people that were just their property who they lost are now trying to come to their area when they have their own. And we expected them to be nice.
of course not.
So that's what I'm saying. So that's what I'm saying. Like some of the shit
Nah,
that some
I'm
of the
aware
shit.
of what you're talking about. I'm just saying the nigga that fucked that shit up was Martin Luther King. Towards
I
the end of
won't
his,
even blame it
so,
on him because he wasn't the only one pushing it.
but he's the forerunner of it. He's the face of it. So I'm just
He's-
going to use him for conversation's sake. You know what I mean? He the one. He the one that want to integrated the whites with the blacks. You know what I mean? And at that time, before he made that move for us to integrate with the whites, our money was circulating through our own communities. You know what I
Who
mean?
came? Who came first, Jackie Robinson or Martin Luther King? Come on. Who came first, Jackie Robinson or Martin Luther King?
I mean, what does it even matter?
Jackie Robinson came first. It matters because Jackie Robinson was instrumental in integration. He went to the Dodgers. He got paid. And you know what started happening? They started playing the black players more than what the Negro leagues could play. And so all the black players went to the major leagues, which defunded the Negro leagues, which subsequently happened with all the other shit that we had and owned when we pushed for integration, which came
So
well before Martin.
it makes it okay for them to treat us the way they treat us because we was good at something.
No, what I'm saying, no, dude, what I'm saying is the racial tensions really did not start. And even in the baseball, they didn't have to pay us to come. So that happened. That's not how they started treating us like that. Baseball ended up being cool. It was a business thing. But at the same time, remember, I just said these are people that they just had to free. Some of them had owned slaves, and so they just walked away. Y'all have y'all's own set of everything, but you want to come over to ours. Why can't we have anything sacred? It's the same mindset you have in 2020 when you preach your tribalism and black power. It's can't we have our own? It's no different than them, except for they were forced to accept us. And they were upset at it back in the day. Not so much now in 2020. Back in the day, yes, it was still fresh. Now, not so much. That's just a byproduct of integration. People being forced to accept you, not wanting to, and they have to. They have to get over their being mad from losing you in the first place. Then they have to get over being forced to accept you. It takes time. Those people back in those days are dying out slowly but surely. Even our pioneers from that day.
I mean, I guess coming from your perspective, I'm you know, I'm
I hate you keep saying this.
what you want me to say, man? What you
You
want me to
keep
say,
saying that
man?
shit like I got an alien perspective of something. I'm speaking
Nah,
very logical.
it's listen, man. Money boy Trey, man. It's not like that, man. You know what I mean? Like I'll look things towards a different lens because we had this conversation. You know what I mean?
And that's all it's about. It's not meant to change your mind, but it's meant to make you think, hey, wait a minute. It's because, like I said, they trick us into thinking that Martin Luther King was the start of integration. No, 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 it wasn't that. He became the face of equal rights, not really civil. He became the equal rights face. Little Rock Nine and all of that shit. I want to say Little Rock Nine happened before Martin Luther King. I'm not 100% sure, but I think that happened before him.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, man. You know, these situations took place. You know, and you know, but from what you're talking about, I look at things in a different perspective. You know what I
Russ, you
mean?
know ain't no white man out here trying to hold you down. Keep it real.
I never claimed for that. You know what I mean? Yeah,
I
things is a
know.
lot harder, but
I
you
know,
know,
and I want you to preach that message more than the man, you know, the system against us, because you personally can say that that's not happening to you. So be a beacon of the ones that say that. There's no need to join the plight of we know what happened, we know
but
what happened.
I can't ignore how hard the obstacle is for us.
You don't
So I
have to
can't ignore
ignore
it.
it. You don't have to ignore it. You can acknowledge it happened while pointing out you personally don't feel that way and aren't experiencing that in your life.
Okay.
Because you're literally promoting something that you personally aren't experiencing in your life. You don't think that's fucked up? That's why dude was pointing out LeBron, like LeBron, you and your immediate family are not experiencing the shit that you're talking about. We don't want to hear from you. We would rather hear it from a Crip or a Blood or somebody that's actually, you know what I'm saying, experiencing that shit daily. Because LeBron has not come out in his 18-year career and gave us a specific instance of racism, except for that one time he said nigger was spray painted on his wall, which by the time the police got there, it had been spray painted over and there was no security footage. That's the only story he got. He ain't never had no story about driving in Beverly Hills, Brentwood, Miami, anywhere, and the police fucked with him because he was black. In fact, this mug has police escort damn near everywhere he goes.
Right, but we can't ignore what goes on for our peoples though. You
I
know what
ain't
I mean?
say ignore it. I didn't say
I mean
ignore
it's
it. I didn't have I ignored it at all during this conversation. I said I don't think it's as bad as they've made it sound, but I haven't ignored it. I haven't said it didn't exist. And I even gave a logical explanation of why the racial tension would even be there. And you said you could understand that. It's just like right now, say you own Russia's all black whatever, and the government comes to you and tells you you have to now hire white people. You're going to be upset at that. And while you're behind your employees' back, or sometimes in your front of your employees because you're the boss, you may say a racial epithet because you're upset that you were forced to do something. It's only natural to react and revolt against what you're forced to do. Come on, Rush is all black. Say the government came in and said, Rush, 10% of your staff got to be white, sir. We know it's Russia's all black everything, and you trying to give back to your black community, but you must have 10% of your company white represented. How would you feel?
First of all, if I did own a few companies, I would hire white people. I'm not a
I
racist.
said if you were forced to, if you wanted to keep it all black and you just wanted to hire all black people because you trying to give back to your community and you ain't got time to give away jobs to white people that's taken away from your people, and the government said, hey, Rush, I know what you trying to do for your people and all, but I'm gonna need you to have some white people on your board. I'm gonna need you to have some white people in management. I'm gonna need you to have, would you like that?
Of course not.
And that's modern. That's what happens during affirmative action, sir. That's literally modern day affirmative action. We're telling, like, you know what? And then check this out. And Do the Right Thing. You know, that movie started off because the Italian man who owned the restaurant that he built did not want to hang black musicians or black people in general on his wall. And that was the issue with the niggas in that movie. Started the whole, that was the basis of the whole movie. Think about that. It's his shit, and people that don't have to go there decided to start a beef with him because he wouldn't do what they wanted in his shit. And we act like we don't understand why racism did flare up and there was a hatred for a moment. We act like we don't understand that.
I mean, listen, man. Things happen, you know. But at the end of the results, black people got the short end of the stick, man. You know what I'm saying?
I won't disagree, but we don't have the short end of the stick anymore.
I mean, to a certain degree, yeah, because we could make moves without all the crazy obstacles they had back in the day.
That's all we
That
need
we
to,
could come,
that's all we truly need to focus on.
yeah.
All we need to focus on is we don't have the same obstacles as them today. We literally do not have the short end of the stick because there's too many doctors and lawyers and prominent black people that don't have the short end of the stick for us to say that we got the short end of the stick still. It's literally choice now. It's doctors that came from the fucking hood. There are lawyers that came from the hood. It happens all day, every day. Fuck the entertainers. I'm just talking about normal people that work at executive jobs. So we can do Fortune 500 companies, BET, MTV, agents, all of that shit. It's too many successful black people out here for us to still be saying we got the short end of the stick. Yeah, we had it, but if we keep talking about what we had and not focusing on what we have, it gets us in a stagnant position. Can you agree with that, or can you
Nah,
understand that
nah,
at
nah,
least?
nah. I agree with you with that. Yeah, man. You know, some people just kind of have to have the spirit of perseverance, man, and just keep pushing. You know.
Yeah, and that's my main issue with the pro blackness. Don't get me wrong, I went through my phase, but I'm glad I didn't stay in it as long as most people. It ends up becoming a hustle and it keeps us stagnant because the people that are consuming the pro black stuff, they're staying stagnant while all the people that are preaching it are getting money and advancing and doing the opposite of what they preach. And just name anybody in the pro black community that didn't come up off their message and change, from Tyreek Nasheed to Brother Polite to Hassan Campbell to Sonetta. Name one, Jesse Jackson, all of them.
Yeah, but you gotta understand, man. The message that they're pushing out, you know, it's it's something needed.
I, it's needed for them to cash in. Feel me? Most of their people are staying stagnant, saying what the white man is doing and how the white man is holding them back. All the while, they're selling their products to the black people, and they're going and spending more money with the white people and moving near the white people. It's no different than the pastor selling you religion via tithes. He's selling you a product. He's selling you God and salvation. And for that, you should put something in the bucket.
Money boy. Trade. Money boy. Trade. Private jet flights overseas.